Hey, DJ.
What's going on, Wes?
Hey, man, did you know that Texas holds the U.S. record for the most hail damage claims and some of the largest hailstones ever recorded?
I did not know that, but we do be getting some storms.
We do be getting. Now you know. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Live, Love Wylie podcast, hosted by Wes Dorsey and DJ Shirley. Connecting people in the city we live and love. Oh, welcome back, everybody. We've got a great episode today. We've got a dynamic duo in the studio today. I want to introduce Melissa and Richard Mancini. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So let's just jump right in. Let's start with your stories. Where did each of you grow up, and what were your early lives like? We'll start with Melissa.
Oh, man, I'm kind of all over, actually. I sort of grew up in Mesquite. I don't tell a lot of people that, but I did. And
DJ's hood.
kind of all over the place after that. I graduated in high school. I graduated from high school in Atlanta, Georgia, and then moved back to Dallas and met my husband.
Mesquite to Atlanta, back to Dallas.
Yeah. My father lived in Atlanta, and he worked for Ted Turner.
Oh, okay.
And did digital television.
Awesome.
Digital television editing for Turner.
Oh, wow. That's kind of neat, right?
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
All right. So, Richard, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Southeast Louisiana, just outside of New Orleans. Born in Lafayette, and grew up on the North Shore across the lake from New Orleans.
Cool. How'd you get over here to Texas?
So I went to LSU, proud LSU grad. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Tigers.
Gonna have to do some editing on this.
There's a lot of tiger bait in this room. No, but when I graduated, it was December of 2005, and it was right after Katrina, and there was nothing but pulling sheetrock going on around there.
Yeah.
And so I had a buddy up here. He said, "Hey, why don't you come? You can stay on the couch for a couple weeks and get a job." And so I did, and got a job and started working on March 27th, 2006, and met my beautiful soon-to-be bride.
I know that because I started the same day.
Yeah, we were in the same training class.
Oh, really?
We became study buddies.
Right.
That's how we met.
Started
Yeah.
working together. Right?
Yeah.
I walked in and sat right next to her, and she smelled great.
Well, that's good.
So is this in Dallas?
Yeah, that was in Dallas. We were sales reps for a telecom company.
Okay. So graduated college, and you're back here, and you guys started working for a telecom company, and then after. So how did your professional lives progress into, becoming entrepreneurs, right?
Oh, man. His story is a little different. Mine, my dad and both of my parents were actually photographers when I was a kid. Freelance, they just always kind of had a camera in their hand. And then with my dad's career, I was always in the studio, saw some really cool stuff, like the first digital cartoon being made. And different things like that. And so I was kind of always around it, did photography in high school, learned how to build a camera out of a shoebox,
Oh, wow.
So I've learned all the things doing film and developing film in the dark room and all the things. So, but once we moved back here, after I had kids, and I was a stay-at-home mom, and not really a stay-at-home mom type. Like, I loved doing it, and I liked being around my kids and being the one that raised them, but I needed something. I needed something to do, and I had some wrist problems and things, and so there was some other stuff that I wanted to get into, but it really wasn't feasible for just my health, and all of that. So I picked up the camera. It was really the one thing that I knew.
Right, you had an early passion for it with all the previous experience growing up, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was something that I could document my kids and also, get out into the community and sort of document the community and help put people's other business, their businesses out there and different things like that. And so, yeah, that's kind of where mine started.
Mine's a little different. Going back to LSU, I enrolled in the biology pre-med program, and during that time, I started doing some marketing, working during college, and realized junior year that I really didn't want to be a doctor, and I just wanted the heck out of school. So I decided that I was going to get back to healthcare through sales, and so the telecom company was the first step on that road. I ended up bringing her back to Louisiana for about 8 years, and I sold food to restaurants down there, and then I got into medical sales and started doing that, and I was covering so much territory, all of Louisiana, all of Mississippi, panhandle of Florida. And so I was doing like 1,500 miles a week. And
home probably 9 or 10, maybe 12 hours out of that week.
Yeah,
on Sundays.
It got
That's road warrior type stuff.
It was. And so I got tired of that pretty quick, or, it got old pretty quick, but it was fun. And it got me back got me in the OR, got some of that experience, and turned green the first time, the color of the scrubs. That was a little bit of an adjustment. Yeah. We'll spare you that story. But so then we moved to Wylie after my dad passed away. It was just kind of one of those things where, happened out of the blue, and really kind of took my focus away from sales and that complicated sales process, trying to get products into hospitals and stuff. So I made that difficult, and I realized that I really wanted to work with my hands. So we moved here in 2015, and I started working with her brother and trained doing paintless dent repair.
Okay, you just made a perfect segue into my next question. Was what brought you and your family to Wylie?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah,
my mom was a realtor, and she was helping us find a place to live. And I don't know, I'm old school Texas, but also I guess my stepmom always gave me heck because I had an accent that was, more Southern than she cared for, I think. But or she just kind of always picked at me, and so
maybe she was the one with the accent.
that's what I always told her. But
Tennessee twang is different.
Yeah. Totally lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Well, how we got to Wylie?
Yeah. So my mom was taking me all over looking at different houses, and I'm like, Wylie. I just kept saying Wylie. Like, it sounded so country to me, and that's crazy, and it doesn't sound that way to me anymore. But I guess in my brain, I was just like, Wylie. But so once we got here, man, he said that we came from the New Orleans area, and I just absolutely fell in love with New Orleans. It was just the greatest place. I mean, of course, you got your crime and your different things like that, but if you know where and how to avoid it, for the most part, it's, it's a fun, happy, like, amazing place to be. And it's always something exciting, and there's parades, and there's, bands, and just something always fun and energetic and full of all the people watching you could ever want. So, when we got here, I mean, we don't have like full on, Mardi Gras parades or anything like that, but the downtown Wylie area, Ballard,
charming,
completely won me over. My husband's Catholic. There was a little Catholic church there right across the corner. There's a Mardi Gras street somewhere around here. St. Paul's is right down the road, which, being Catholic, they get christened and they have christened names. So his father's christened name was Paul, and so just tiny little things kept popping up. And there was
signs,
signs. Yeah.
So then we moved here, and I remember the very first birthday party that we had for one of the kids. All the family came over and friends and stuff, and my aunt shows up and she goes, "Melissa, I lived like 3 houses down on this road, 3 houses down from you, like 15 years ago." I'm like, "No, I had no idea. That's crazy." And then my grandmother shows up, and she's holding this yearbook. And the yearbook is from the Birmingham School in 1959. And it was dedicated to my grandfather. And I was like, "What is this?" And she goes, "Your grandfather used to be a coach in Wylie. He was the first, like, junior high girls basketball coach that, or maybe even basketball coach for girls that ever existed. I'm not exactly sure because he passed before all of this occurred. But yeah, it was just like, what? And so that kind of put me on a mission to find people that knew about my grandfather. Because in this yearbook, like all of the administrators and principals and things were all of our namesake schools around town. So we've got the Dodd and the Draper and the Cooper, and it was all of the people that McMillan. They were all the men, legendary men, like in these photos with my grandfather, and just kind of like blew me away. So I went on a mission trying to find people that knew my grandfather, and I remember being at the Chamber of Commerce banquet over at the First Baptist Church before they changed to the Cross. And I heard this gentleman's name, and I decided I'm going to stand up and I'm going to go ask him if he knows my grandfather. And so I did. I got up after it was over and I walked straight up to him and I said, "Hi, my name's Melissa Mancini. I just wanted to know if you knew who my grandfather was." And he goes, "Well, what's his name?" And I said, "Bobby Darwin." And he said, "Well, sure, I know Bob." And it kind of blew me away. And yeah, so my grandfather had only been married once, and that was to my mom's mom. And so that's how I found out that I have a local legend as a direct family member.
Yeah. So tell that story. So he said that he married his cousin.
No.
No, he didn't marry his cousin, but your grandfather married his cousin.
Yes.
My grandfather married
Bob. Bob married.
Yeah.
Bob married Jerry's cousin.
There we go.
So,
let's straighten that out.
Yeah. No.
And that person you were talking to was Judge Jerry Schaefer.
Oh, yeah, that was Judge Jerry Schaefer. And so a couple weeks later, we actually loaded up all the kids. He is in charge of our family reunions, which I had been to before and didn't put any of it together. And so out in Leonard, Texas, there we all went with a bunch of little rugrats and went and visited and got to see him and his wife, who was my grandmother's really, really good friend growing up. And so it's been really cool to see all the things that.
So all those signs that you were seeing, you had no idea that you had deep ties to the Wylie community.
None, not until 10 years ago when we moved here.
Is meant to be, right?
It was weird. It was. I'm a big believer in signs, and like everything just happens, the way it's supposed to, and I don't worry a whole heck of a lot because it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Oh, for sure.
And so just coming here and having all of that happen, it was just like, whoa. That if that doesn't solidify my thought process my whole life, like I don't know what does. So it was really cool experience. It's really neat still, learning about like Almo and what that means and where it came from and being able, people ask me all the time wearing T-shirts that say Almo. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
there's a great video online somewhere out there that I've seen many times.
The David Letterman scene.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So it's he's a pretty cool guy just in general. Judge Jerry Schaefer, Coach Judge Jerry Schaefer. But yeah, it was really wild being able to put all that together and realize that I'm here and it's such a, I don't know, it's just such a cool thing. It's such a cool story for me even. So
yeah, for sure. It's a really good, cool story. Yeah. So we kind of teased everybody about when I asked you the entrepreneur question, and we kind of talked about photography and paintless dent repair. So we haven't mentioned your businesses yet. So let's just jump right into that. So you own and operate Melissa Mancini Photography. You're downtown Wylie, right?
Yes, I've been in downtown Wylie since 2016 with a studio. My first one was right here next door to you guys. My second one was right next to the flower shop, and now I'm right next to the Chamber of Commerce at the corner of Brown and Ballard, and right across the street from that cute little Catholic church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've probably been there since 21. So at my current studio. Yeah, and currently focusing on, I specialize in large custom artwork for your home. So we plan and hold the session, and then everything from your session I'll put together with digital wall art. And so you'll see it kind of as an example. You'll see it true to size and scaled to your wall with a photo that you provide me of your home. And I'm able to show you, exactly what I create and what it's going to look like and how, we can manage it and make it look like a gallery wall or make it a large just canvas or create something that has a frame. And so there's a lot of different options. I create really cool albums, tabletop albums for high school seniors and families. And I also recently, it's probably been 5 or 6 years now, but kind of focused more on the senior side. And also I started adding headshots and branding, corporate headshots and branding and stuff like that.
So these big art pieces that go on the wall, are these like family photos or?
Yeah, so it would be a photo from your session. So it's either going to be, my seniors always get like a 16 by 20 metal piece of art of just them. Sometimes they get them a little bit bigger, but the kids are like, Mom, I really don't need a life-size photo of myself anywhere.
Everybody needs a life-size photo of themselves.
But then I also have clients that'll get a 60 by 40 and it's literally the size of their actual body, full-size person on the wall. And they love it. And so it really just depends. I shot the cover for a magazine that's published only for the Inspiration neighborhood here in Wylie, or St. Paul, I guess technically, but here in Wylie. And those people have, the folks in that neighborhood have walls for days. Their walls are huge and plenty of them. And so that is where my huge artwork goes usually is over an Inspiration, just because they have the room for it. So
they got the ceilings that go up to the second story and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. And the stairwells and all the things. So yeah.
So what do you love most about capturing those moments for people?
Man, there's something about we just sent our don't cry, Melissa, you got this.
You got it.
We just sent our oldest to Orlando for college. And so being a senior photographer and knowing the things that I tell, I've made 100 parents cry over the years accidentally, trying to tell them what I do and the experience that they're going to get. And, but being my own seniors photographer was something that I will never forget. And so DJ can tell you at our meetings, and even my husband, our networking meetings that we go to, I'm like, y'all just take the photo. Just take the photo. No one cares how much you weigh or if your hair's been done or if you've gotten your nails done or if you all have brand new clothes. Wear t-shirt, shorts, and no shoes. I don't care. Take the photo. Just take the photo, because there's just something about savoring that moment. You're never going to get it back. It's like a wedding. You pay for all the stuff there, the flowers and the food and the venue and all of that. But in the end, you only have the photos left.
It's a fleeting moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So just being able to.
Those days go by so fast.
Right.
Like
just
the
being
senior
able.
years goes by so fast,
Yeah. Take the photo.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think we took our photos. We took our last family photo before we sent our kid to college, a few days before he even left. I was scheduled it the day before. Didn't have anything planned. No outfits. My hair needed to be done and cut and all the things. And I was just like, so what? Here we go.
Yeah.
Needs to happen.
That's like, this is a little bit different, but one of my favorite things on my iPhone is up in the corner. It just pulls up random old photos from my photo album of like when the kids were small. Yeah. And it just brings
you
back.
Forget they're in the phone.
Yeah, you forget about them. And it's like every day I look at that and I scroll through all the old photos and I'm going, just memories, right?
Right.
Of fleeting moments that have been in the past that, that's stuff you're not going to get back.
Right. It's just there's something about being able to save, that tiny little toothless baby face, or, seeing my kid now, he's got a little Mario mustache going on and,
What is it that you usually say, babe?
Oh, don't let your babies grow up to be JPEGs. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and
they get stuck in a file.
the thing now with
Well, like on my phone, right?
Yeah.
right,
Exactly.
and that's all good and great. Like I'm all for digital, photography, and I live my life by digital photography, and the phone. Everybody has a phone with amazing cameras these days, and all of that, but in reality, we're waiting on FaceTime and Time Hop and the little Google Photos to show you what you did 8 years ago. Yeah. What I do, I like to get them off of there, and I like to put them on the wall. And like there's something about when your kids come home and they see a large photo of themselves, they feel so valued and so treasured and loved. And so it's just really something that, you know, I have huge images of my own kids on the wall. And when Braden was leaving for college, he's like, I said, what are you taking with you? It was what I was, you know, like, what are you going to pack? He's like, this picture right here was a canvas that I had of him and the boys when they were, I don't even know, 5, 7, and 12 or something like that. So he
wanted to take that.
They cherish that kind of
really
stuff.
Cool, yeah.
Crazy enough, because I never even thought about it. That thing's been hanging on my wall for 10 years, and he wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, so but it's something about the kids when they come home and they see their photo, and even you. I was telling one of my senior parents this, like, even yourself, you can come home and be like wanting to wring that kid's neck because they did X, Y, and Z. And you look up and you're like, but I still love them. Oh, and I don't look good in orange. You know, but it's really just something about being able to savor those moments, and they go so fast, and you don't get them back.
No,
so
you don't.
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, you know, time's a thief, but you know, it's so true.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So how's the Wylie community influenced and supported your photography journey?
Man. So I took a master class. I got a business coach early on in my business. And she was like, girl, when you're broke and you don't have any money and you don't have any, you know, anything, take yourself to the chamber, take yourself to the school district and go volunteer. And that is what I did. I volunteered more hours than I probably worked in the beginning.
She forgot how to say no.
When COVID hit, in fact, I'm pretty sure I was on 9 boards at that time.
That's a lot of boards.
I was on 3 different school board PTA boards, the district PTA board. I was on I was on multiple chamber boards. I sat on as the chair for the Education Foundation for Boots and Barbecue, as the design chair. So I mean, I did so many things, and I wouldn't even say I got burnt out. I didn't know I was burnt out until COVID hit, and it was like, whew, okay. And then it just sort of, I had to kind of figure out what I needed to keep and what I didn't have time for anymore. But outside of that, outside of not being able to say no, the saying yes part is definitely what helped me grow my business. I mean, this community definitely showed up and showed out for me because I did the same thing for them, I believe, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's just the way Wylie is. I mean, Wylie supports Wylie.
Oh yeah. When I kind of forgot about this until we just started talking about it. But when COVID hit, you know, my husband was essential. He went to work every day because he could.
Yeah.
They shut me down. And I can't tell you, there's at least a handful of people around the town that sent me a large sum of money to do work for them later. Like, hey, you're good for it. Let's go ahead and book this. I know you can't work right now, but let me go ahead and help you out right now.
Yeah.
And they literally kept me afloat doing that. And I
Wylie way.
literally couldn't have been more grateful.
It was kind of
for
ridiculous time because, you know, we're talking about social distancing and stuff, and most of the time she is good distance from the subject or whatnot, but there was a lot of online shaming.
Yeah.
You know, going on, and that was something that we didn't want a part of or be, you know, wrapped up in. So we decided to just play it safe. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on back then. We won't get into any of that. But.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about your favorite client story. I know we talked about your personal story, but favorite client story or a moment that really stands out.
Man, I didn't know you were going to throw that one at me. I have so much.
What about the lady's hands?
Oh, the 100th birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, so I used to do a lot of, and it started with my sister, one of my sister-in-laws. She wanted to do a 30th birthday smash cake session.
Yeah.
So you heard the babies that do, you know, the moms that
yeah.
put their little babies in front of the little cake and they smash it all over themselves. Well, this is a little cleaner version of that for adults. Less smashing of the cake in the face and more just champagne and cake and kind of like bougie,
Yeah.
you know, fun, balloons, all the stuff. And so I started doing that, and it got really popular. They were coming in from everywhere. I was having people from Little Elm and Frisco, just all over the towns, all over the area around DFW. And all of a sudden I had, it was a friend of mine, actually. She called me and said that her grandmother was going to turn 100. And she wanted to do a 100th birthday smash cake session for her. And I was like, what? A smash cake? And so we did all the things. We had the balloons, and she had her little rocking chair out. And this was in Forney. And she had a little rocking chair, and she had a crown, and she had, all of her family was there, and we were having such a good time. And we, the granddaughters and the daughters of this client of mine had her set her hands in her lap, and they all came and put their hands underneath. And so we took this really cool image, and I printed it out in black and white and sent it into them. And man, just looking at this woman's hands, the veins, the wrinkles, the scars, you can just tell she's lived.
Yeah.
And it was probably that.
There's a lot of stories
That was,
in her hands. Yeah.
That was probably like one of the most special times for me. She did pass away shortly after that. And the family were so thankful. We had some of the younger family members had contacted me to reach out to get a few more of the images that they hadn't ordered in the past. And that was one of them that they really, really wanted, was a large black and white image of grandma's hands crossed. She had all of her, antique special rings on and things like that. And it was just a really cool image. Seeing that, like I never really wanted to get old when I was young. I was like, I'm good right here. Y'all are cooking and cleaning and doing all the things. I'm good with being a kid.
Yeah.
Adulting sounds terrible. And then so now though, watching this back and thinking about it now, even like she's got so many stories, and you can read them just through looking at this black and white photo in her hands. Yeah. Not even seeing her face or anything. So that was pretty cool. Thanks for reminding me about that.
That's amazing. All right, let's all stop crying right now. So before we move on to Straight Line, let's tell everybody where they can find you on the internet.
Yes, my website is www. I believe melissamanciniphotography.com. And yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, all the things. Same.
DJ will link all the links below.
Yeah.
So that people will be able to find you, but we like to talk about it. All right. So let's talk about Straight Line Paintless Dent Repair.
Yeah. Most people say dentless paint repair.
Well, I'm surprised they even got it out correctly, because you talked about drinking games earlier, but one of the games here is when I mess up a word. Oh, yeah, you can have a really good time listening to the podcast, and when I mess up a word, yeah. But anyway, so we kind of touched on it earlier, but how did you get started in this automotive industry of paintless dent repair? It
was kind of a roundabout way. Like I said earlier, I wanted to work with my hands. I started working with her brother, and he didn't do that at the time, but we serviced a lot of the dealerships in the area, and made the used cars look as new as possible. And so part of it was touch ups and buffing out scratches and stuff. And we had a painter painted mostly just bumpers and mirror caps and stuff. But, and I was talking to him one day, I'm like, why don't you teach me how to paint so we can divide and conquer and, get more accounts? And he goes, nah, you don't want to mess with all those chemicals. He said, we're going to go paintless. Companies go paperless. We're going to go paintless. And so he had gone and done some training, spent a lot of money on that. And he had a bunch of tools, and he said, I'm going to teach you how to do this. So we started messing with it, and man, it seemed so difficult at first, and I didn't think I'd ever get it. And slowly but surely, I started to kind of get the muscle memory and feel. And I meant to bring some tools. I meant to bring some tools to show you the medieval, iron tools that we use. But anyway, the first year I was struggling. I was just it would take me like an hour to fix a dent that would take me less than 5 minutes now. But over those first 2 years, it was more therapy for me because after my dad passed, I just wanted to just put my head down and grind.
Yeah.
And so it was very satisfying, a lot like woodworking. And so by the end of 2 years, I realized like, man, I'm actually really good at this now. And so I guess I got to keep going. And so for the first, 6-7 years, I was specifically at several dealerships in the area. And so over the 10 years that I've been in it now, be 10 years in November, I've fixed well over 10,000 cars.
Wow.
And probably, after some of these hailstorms that we've had, probably add up to, 1 million dents, I would imagine. But if not, pretty close.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know what PDR is, I'm going to shorten it so I don't have to say it all. PDR, paintless dent repair.
Yeah.
What exactly makes that different than traditional body work?
Oh man, major difference. So traditional body work, obviously we're, going to scuff down that panel or whatever part of the car is damaged, and then they'll repaint it. Right. So what we're doing is we're trying to save that factory paint, save that panel, save you some time. It's even actually more environmentally friendly too, if you care about that. And then, so the factory finish of the vehicle is, one of the main assets to the vehicle. And so if you can save that and maintain that factory finish, you're going to maintain the value of your vehicle a lot better.
Right.
So what we do is we typically want to try to get access to the back side of the dent, so behind the panel, and slowly massage that dent out and make it look like it never happened.
Right. And there's a little art to it, right?
Very
like
much so.
You mentioned earlier, it
Very
took you a
much
couple years to kind of just
Yeah.
to get the whole process down. And it's kind of like
I think that actually used to be your motto.
It's kind of a saying in the industry. It's more than a repair; it's an art.
yeah. Oh, okay.
And so, I mean, it really is. It really is.
So what are some of what are the biggest, we kind of mentioned hail, right? Is that the biggest culprit of the types of dents that you pop out, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's the bigger jobs, right? And so in 2023, I moved into my first shop here in Wylie. And before that, so the 7 years before that, I was completely mobile. And I was doing mostly dealerships, but then I'd get some retail calls. I'd go to somebody's house and fix their stuff. But in order to get those bigger jobs, the hail jobs or the crushed in doors from hitting, sideswiping a tree kind of jobs.
So can you PDR those?
It depends.
I mean, my next question I was going to lead into is what typically is the cutoff to where you would okay, I can't PDR that, but you need to go.
There's a couple of factors.
Yeah.
There's a couple of factors. The industry as a whole is trying to expand what we can do by coming out with new technologies. There's a lateral tension product that's out there on the market now that keeps tension on the panel to spread it out and relieve some of that pressure that's trapped in the dent. So that is going to eat into more of that body shop business, stuff that people would traditionally think they have to replace or repaint. The cutoff is really what the customer really wants to have as a goal. So if you come to me with a big dent, I might be able to do it. But if there's some paint missing, you might not want to do paintless dent repair.
Yeah.
You might want,
you need paint.
Yeah, because you're missing paint. So that's one thing that can kind of help decide that. Other thing is if the edge of the panel is damaged, it's pretty much toast.
So it's got to be a dent that's towards the center or middle mass or whatever.
What happens is there's the edge of the panel is where multiple skins come together.
Sure.
And they're bonded together. So it just makes it a lot more difficult when you're fighting two different metal skins than just the outside. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what are some of the most rewarding or challenging aspects of doing this type of work for you?
man, people think that I'm a miracle worker. I'm a magician. Yeah, DJ's one. So some people, like if I was doing it back home, they probably think I was doing voodoo.
Yeah.
Back in Louisiana. And it's funny because, going through that pre-med program, a lot of classmates ended up being doctors and surgeons, and they talk to them on the phone and like, what do you do I don't understand. What is this dent repair stuff? I said, well, it's kind of like orthoscopic surgery for cars. I'm looking for an opening. I get my tool in there and I work that damage out. And they're like, oh, okay. And I know they still don't know what I'm talking about, but as far as rewarding, I mean, I really like working on classics. It's bringing that back without having to repaint something that's original is really rewarding, especially when it's a vehicle that's been handed down to it and in a family. So that's really nice. And then you can definitely tell people that appreciate it a lot more than others. Some people are just like, oh, cool. All right, thanks. And some people were like jumping up, crying, tears of joy kind of thing. Like,
I didn't realize people liked their cars that much. Like, I like my car, but some people are highly obsessed.
Yes.
I didn't know. Until I got.
And those are my favorite people.
Yeah. I'm not sad about it, but it just took me a while to go, wow, I didn't know you people were a thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're a thing.
No, it's cool. And it's funny because in this whole, like when I'm working, I'm zoned in, like the world could be falling apart around me, but I'm inside this dent. I'm working, right? And, we got a lot of time to think when you're doing it. And so one thing that I remembered back in my childhood, I played with Hot Wheels a lot.
Right.
A lot. That's how I entertained myself. And, if you push down on a Hot Wheel too hard, the metal axle will bend. Oh, yeah. And so I had a whole toolkit to unbend those axles. Yeah. And so I never really dawned on me, but I was practicing PDR as a young kid to a certain degree. But
that's funny.
Yeah.
Another one of those early signs, right?
Exactly.
Destinies, right?
Exactly.
So we talked a little bit earlier before the show started, but you're branching out into some other services there at your shop?
Yeah. So when you have a shop that has bills, and you're not just mobile anymore, there's, you need to look for ways to create revenue. And, I got customers coming to me all the time. Do you do this? Do you do this? And I've made it a mission to say no less to those kinds of things. So I'm kind of going the other way, but the business is kind of weather dependent, right? So we haven't had a direct hit from a hailstorm here in Wylie since 2016. So I don't want to wait for another 9 years to be able to help that many people. So I've started to kind of go into other services that are a little more regular. And so we're doing paint protection film, which is like a clear vinyl that covers the vehicle. And it's got many benefits, but it's probably one of the highest levels of protection for your vehicle. We're also doing ceramic coating and ceramic window tint. And so I've actually done some chrome deletes, and I actually I replaced a window the other day. Some customer brought a car, said, "Oh, my wife's window broke. Can you fix it?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, we'll figure it out, right?
All I gotta do is buy the part. I mean, I take these cars apart to do the dent repair on them. So I've taken glass out several times. I can take it out and put a new one in. So
yeah, so like for the people out there, when you got the dents in the top of the car,
roof,
right in the roof, you got to take the headliner and this is all the parts, interior parts out.
All the electronics have to be unplugged.
Yeah, we lower the headliner about 10, 12 inches, and we can get our tools up in there safely and massage all those dents out one by one. It's pretty amazing to see a car come in or a truck, whatever, and it just looks trashed, right? And then by the time it leaves, it's brand new again. And it's funny because customers will say almost, time and time again, it's it's like I'm getting a new car.
Right.
You know, it's like they bought a new car again, and it's even better than it was before. That's always my goal.
I've only purchased one new car, and I can tell you, getting a dent in it, it's like instant depreciation in your mind.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, it's not even new anymore or whatever. But so
I just had a customer drop off this morning a brand new Land Cruiser, and you know those things aren't cheap. I spoke to her on Saturday about it, about the paint protection film and ceramic coating, and she said, "Oh, that sounds perfect. We're going to be doing some overlanding in this vehicle," and I'm like, "Man, this is an expensive vehicle to be doing that kind of stuff in. You need to protect it." And so, so she brought it to me because she had some dents on the hood, and when we're talking, she looks down at the fender and there's a scratch. And I said, yeah, that's not going to buff out. I'm sorry to say, and then I look up at her and she's crying. I mean, she was in tears. And so, I mean, it hurts. I know it's a gut wrenching deep, down deep.
Especially with the cost of vehicles going through the roof.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I just, I have a new truck that has that weird tailgate where it's got the little part that pops down, the little step.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't pay attention, and you got your receiver hitch in, and you pop that down, you'll get a little dent in the back.
Yeah.
And I got a little dent in the back, and I was upset about it.
Oh yeah.
So I might get you to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get upset about that stuff. So for sure, be upset.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the first dent, right?
No, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was talking about.
But it's funny because there's a lot of people that I hear is like, oh, it's just a truck. It's going to get dents in it, you know, just a truck.
Yeah, but
like,
delay it as much as possible.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Trust me.
So that film that you put on, does that help? Does it help protect against some smaller dents or smaller hail? Obviously, it protects against scratches and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's more for the rock chips and scratches than it is for dents. So I kind of became pretty impressed with this product early on in my dent repair. I was working on a vehicle at a dealership that had it on there. And it wasn't fully wrapped. It was just like the leading edge because you can do multiple configurations of your coverage. But I was, you know, one of the tools that we use is a tap down, and I meant to bring it to show you. But you tap down on if your dent's too high, you got to tap down from the outside. And I was working an area that had PPF on it, or paint protection film, and I tapped it down and I put a little divot in this film, and I have my light on there, and with the light I can see every little detail, and I literally watched the film self-heal in front of me.
Oh, wow.
Within seconds. And before you knew it, that divot that I made with the knockdown, it was gone completely, like no evidence at all. And so I was like just totally floored. And I did it several times more, showing other people that were walking by. I'm like, watch this stuff. So I'm a firm believer in PPF, and it will withstand a little bit of an impact, but you know, it's not going to prevent dents.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I can still fix them if they do get one.
Oh, for sure. And the film self-heals itself.
And the film will stay there, in place.
And your paint is intact.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you know, let's kind of touch on this a minute because I know people probably fell victim to this. You know, when we get hit with a hailstorm, big hailstorm, there's always people, these fly-by-night people that come to the area. It could be roofers, it could be PDR people, right? And they're just running, their business operations through tents on the side of the road or whatever. Yeah. There's a huge benefit of having a company, local company that's been in business that you can come back to. Yeah. Kind of share your thoughts on that, on these people.
Yeah, no, we had a customer that came to us this year after the March hailstorm, and he had brought his vehicle to another guy, another company that was advertising here locally. They had a trailer set up on 78, and so he brought his vehicle there. Well, come to find out, he had to go get something out of his vehicle, and he found out that his vehicle was not in Wylie at all, that they had taken his vehicle all the way to Arlington, to their shop in Arlington. And so of course, you find something out like that, you're probably going to lose your mind.
Yeah.
And he did. And he, took his vehicle back from him and was recommended by another business owner that we were friends with and recommended to us. And so we were able to take over that claim and help him out. And so that was just a huge eye opener for me. I mean, yeah, we know there's going to be a lot of people coming in from out of town, and Wylie is famous in the paintless dent repair. After that 2016 storm, everybody in my industry that knows anything about hail knows Wylie.
Yeah.
And so it's very important
That storm
that way you
there-
have some recourse.
Yeah, that storm there. I mean, that like my truck that I had then was outside, and it needed to be fully redone traditionally.
We
right?
lost 3 in that storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good. They were not repairable with PDR.
Yeah, no.
They were
Hailstones
they had
that
holes in
big,
the middle.
kind of. Yeah, that's the line, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a great idea. You were talking about the tools, right? You do video content on your Facebook page and stuff. You should do some videos with those tools that people can go. They're listening to this episode to your Facebook and see those videos coming soon, right?
Oh yeah, no, we actually have. I have one video that kind of sketched me out when I shot early on in my career at one of the dealerships I was working at, and it kind of started gaining some traction, and people were like commenting about my tools. I have this hammer that the head of the hammer is brass knuckles, and so they're like, I'm getting all these comments. Aren't those illegal? I'm gonna call the cops on him. Like, kidding me?
Yeah, the keyboard warriors.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's ridiculous, but I call that one my bill collector.
There you go. Yeah,
So funny.
I haven't had to use it though.
that's funny. That's funny.
Actually, fun fact about that hammer, I actually helped rescue a person with that hammer
That's true.
on Highway 78.
All right, let's hear that.
I have video evidence of it. That actually
somebody
happened.
that knew us saw me doing it. So I'm driving down in my truck, got the 2 kids in the car, and I'm taking them to daycare. And there's traffic on 78 coming in through Saxe, and right in front of that Kroger. And I noticed that something was going on, so I turned off and cutting through the McDonald's parking lot to cut everybody. Anyway, while I'm doing that, I realized that there's a vehicle that people are like trying to break the window of because this guy was having a heart attack or a seizure.
Medical emergency.
A medical
of some
emergency,
kind,
yeah. And so they've got those little hammers, that everybody's got with the little sharp tip thing, and they're banging on this windows. And there's probably 5 people around this car, and they cannot break the glass. And so I parked my truck, and grabbed my hammer. Was luckily right on top, and I ran across the street because they were going southbound, and I just stepped across the front of the car and tapped the front glass, and it shattered immediately. And then I got the heck out of there because I didn't want to be paying for that glass. But everybody said that I talked to said he's fine. So and I didn't get the bill.
There you go. Hey, you're a hero.
Yeah. And the video is
whatever.
of the whole thing doing exactly what he said. He jumps out the car, grabs his tool, runs, swings the hammer, and runs back. And it happened that fast. It was wild. Yeah.
So where can people find you online?
So my website is straightlinepdr.com. All my handles are Straight Line Dent Repair on Twitter, Facebook,
socials?
all that. Yeah, social. And so I'm all over it.
Awesome. Well, it's about that time. I appreciate you guys
Dang,
coming
that
in.
was
This was
That was fast. I'm like,
Yeah.
what else? What's next?
we almost went an hour already. So appreciate you guys coming in and telling your stories and talking about your great businesses here in Wylie. And DJ will link all the links below, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning into the Live, Love, Wylie podcast. If you're watching on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, or Facebook Reels, we'd love to have you like and subscribe over on YouTube, so you can watch the full episode. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.